you imagine yourself charging into Xenos filth or conquering the galaxy for the greater good? So do we. Join us as we chat all things tabletop without taking any of it too seriously. Welcome to Third Space Tabletop Talks.
Hello and welcome to Third Space Tabletop Talks. I'm Steve from When I Can Hobby.
I'm Seb from Let's Geek It Out.
I'm Ben from the Jedi Archives.
And I'm Josh, and I don't have any fixed affiliation.
Welcome back, guys. And today we've got a few different things we're going to be talking about. Today's main topic we're going to be talking about is going to be about mental health. But as we start off the podcast with everything, we go back into things that have been going on in the hobby world. And the latest things in the Warhammer world has been, I'll pass it over to our Space Wolf correspondent, Seb. What's been happening in the Space Wolves world?
What? Oh, I wouldn't say I'm a Space Wolves correspondent just yet, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited. So they released another lot of review, that them being Warhammer, obviously released another lot of like photos and stuff of the next lot of Space Wolf models that are coming out. They're all centered around Terminators. So let's have a quick look at. I've got them all up here. So you've got Logan Grimnar with two wolves and a massive axe. He's kind of mounted up on a rock, which looks fantastic. It's going to be a brilliant centerpiece for your army. They've also got Gnarl Stormcall. No, hang on, that's not the next one. They've got Rockfist in Terminator armor, and he's got two really cool poses. He's got one where he's holding the hammer, and then the other one where he's like throwing it like Thor. It looks awesome.
I love that.
Oh, it's so cool. And then you've got You've got Gnarl Stormcaller. Or however you pronounce his name, Jarl Stormcaller. I don't know. And he's got like a raven attached to his shoulder, which is really cool. And there's a few others as well. And I just think they are really going all in, like on these models. There's such a level above. And I think when I first sort of started the hobby, I always thought about doing Space Wolves because I've always been massively into Norse mythology. I think it's fantastic. But when I first saw the models at the time, because they were like 20 years old or whatever, I did go, they're a bit crap. I was like, if they got a bit of love, then I might be interested. And as I decided that I was going to use the Custodes as my sort of learn to play Warhammer and then go on to a different army, literally as I was making that decision up, the Space Wolf models got announced, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm sold straight away because I just think they look fantastic.
Well, you were going to do Blood Angels, join the, get a proper chapter until
I was
Space
literally right. I was obviously speaking to you about it that evening, going, yeah, Blood Angels. I'm going to go Flesh Terrors. It look fantastic. Woke up the next day, and I think Steve sent me a link to the Space Wolves because we both spoke about it in the past, saying, oh, maybe we'd do that army if they refresh the models. And then Steve was like, Seb, they fucking done it. Look at this. And I was like, oh my God, sorry, Ben. Sorry, Blood Angels. We're out. We're not doing them. But yeah, I think they look absolutely fantastic. And I cannot wait for them to be released.
I'm not angry about it, mate. I'm just disappointed. It's okay. It's
I'll get over it. I hope you do too.
No, to be fair, the amount of dedicated minis they're doing for the Space Wolves, that's mega.
It's
I can't remember the last time they did that level of like chapter specific minis. For like, what are we talking? What would have been the last thing it's had? Because you've got the army box has got, is it 3 new units in there, plus then the characters, plus the Terminators.
Yeah, you've got the Wolf Guard, you've got the not head terrors, something like that. There's obviously you've got the Grey Hunters, which have been redone. There's a few in there, and yeah, it's really. Oh, and you've got the Wolf Priest as well, which is a really impressive model, which is looks absolutely fantastic. But yeah, there's a hell load of models there. I know lots of people getting I was seeing some comments online, people getting really frustrated about it. I think a lot of Blood Angels players were saying, we got we we got a new unit of black jump packs. Like that was basically all we got. And there was the vampire guy as well. I can't remember his name. And there was a few other models, but on the whole, they were like they have kind of swept everyone else to the side and gone, let's just go all in on the Space Wolves. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. I'm far from complaining.
I mean, whether it means we're then maybe it's getting ready for the Rust coming back. You know,
Yeah.
it could be that.
I mean, but the thing I saw a meme on the internet. I'm trying to remember the movie now. It's oh damn it! It's when you got the three Asian guys and you got the white guy who's Muslim as well. But they're driving the bus. They're like terrorists or something. Can you? I can't remember if you know the
Four
movie.
Lions.
Four Lions.
That's Four Lions, yeah. And you know the one when they're all singing in the background. You got the three guys singing in the background. You got the guy driving it. The guy driving it is
dancing in the moonlight.
That's it.
Yeah,
he's got the blood. Yeah. He's got the Blood Angel badge. But then the other three is Dark Angels, it's Space Wolves, and the Black Templars. Because all of them, you know, if you think about all the models that the Dark Angels got, they got a big hit with the Lion came out. And even before the change from 9 to 10, you know, when the Crusader squad came out for the Black Templars, the Sword Breath, and everyone went through the Rubicon. Yeah, is it Rubicon? Is it Rubicon? That's it. Became Primaris.
Yeah.
All of the Black Templars and Helbrecht, Grimaldus, all of them lot got, you know, they all got redone, and the Emperor's Champion and stuff. So, you know, they've all got a lot of love, and unfortunately, like Blood Angels hasn't got.
I was surprised Blood Angels they didn't do the Assault Terminators as part of them.
No, that was literally like an easy window, wasn't it? It was a straight in, you know, Blood Angels. You know, it's the Assault Terminators need to be done desperately. You hear West Games Workshop. Do the Assault Terminators. Do them now.
They're definitely watching this, so listen
They
up.
are. Yeah, they're one of our 2 listeners.
So yeah.
I was trying to think the last time that a loyalist faction got as big an overhaul, and by loyalist faction I mean specifically loyalist Space Marine faction. I was thinking back, and I think when they released Dark Vengeance, they released quite a lot of new stuff for the Dark Angels, but I think that wasn't that like the box set for like 6th edition or something like that. I feel as though since then they've released quite a lot of chapter specific models within Chaos. Because since then, you've had all of the Death Guard specific stuff. You've had a lot of more World Eater specific stuff. But I'm not sure if there's been as big a release as this for a loyalist.
Yeah, I think this is the biggest for a long time. Which is, I mean, you know, I think the whole time there's new stuff coming out, and they do look good. It's not like they've come out and they've gone, oh yeah, you got a load of new Space Force specific stuff, and it all looks shit. It all looks really good. Like it does look really, really good. They've smashed the design. So. Fair. Just give us more Blood Angels. You know, that's all I'm asking for. You know, keep everyone else.
Also, today, did you guys see the new Imperial Knight?
Yeah. I was going to mention the new Imperial Knight. Yeah. Looks very cool. Yes. They specifically referred to it as it being an ancient relic of technology as well. So I'm holding out hope that you can use it in Horus Heresy.
I hope so. But no, that looks
Look, the Age of Darkness box is out of stock.
Yeah, rumours around that there might be some new thing coming out. I hope that it's not Heresy 3, but I mean, who knows?
Maybe just a new box. If they're going to launch like an upscaled Mark 4 or Mark 5, a new box with it in, you could do a box with Mark 4s and 5s in.
That would be nice. That would be nice to get those models out there, wouldn't it? You know.
It's apparently supposed to be Salamanders versus Iron Warriors, so you'd have thought Iron Warriors are probably likely to be in Mark 3 or 4, aren't they?
Nice.
And then I don't know about the Salamanders actually. I'm not sure what they used.
I've seen a lot of Salamanders in Mark 3, and they look. That's the one with the like the plate with the like that in the front. Yeah. I've seen quite a few of them. The images of them, and I think they look quite cool. I mean, it would be nice because I do like the beaks. But I do really like Mark 3 and Mark 4. And I just like the pauldrons, they've got some detail on it. They've got a bit of trim on them. They're a bit, yeah.
Obviously, I want the Mark. I think Mark 5 is what the Blood Angels use. So I need that. Ideally, an upscaled Ralderon, because the Ralderon figure looks about like 3 foot tall now in comparison to the new stuff.
And apart from that, I mean, the only other thing, I was a Warhammer hero, just a slight thing in there. But yes,
we've got to say congratulations, Steve, your Warhammer hero nomination.
Well done, mate. You're my Warhammer hero.
No, you're all heroes. You're all my heroes. You are.
You're my Warhammer hero.
But on the back
That
of
was a
that,
different nomination. I don't think he was shortlisted for that one, was he?
So no, again, absolutely over the moon. There's going to be the award ceremony and stuff. Yet to hear any more about that. But yeah, really, really over the moon. Really nice to be mentioned again. I wasn't in a White Wolf this time for that one. I was.
Yeah, sorry, mate. That's about that.
But no, it was great stuff, and it was all the community, all of the hobby club, everyone else who's in it, and we are also just going to put a shout out for the International Guild of Hobbyists and the army that's been painted. That's all getting raffled off as £5 a ticket. I'll drop the link in the description below. I'm finishing off the Jedi Archives Third Space part of that, where we've got a Stormlance 2,000 point detachment that's going into this whole army. I think there's going to be it's 10,000 points worth of Space Marines you can win just by buying a £5 ticket. It's going to be the biggest giveaway of models I think that's been done. But yeah, so awesome stuff. So supporting another one, another charity, and there'll be more stuff coming up all this month about it as we get ready for the Bristol Grand Tournament, which we'll be talking about in coming up episodes. That's that. So, anything else? Oh, what has everyone been up to in their hobby at the present moment? Anyone been up to anything fun, interesting, exciting, new, different?
Not different or new, just custodies.
So Seb's been in custodies. Ben's still playing with fish.
Ugh.
I've thoroughly enjoyed building some fish boys. All right, I don't regret it.
Do you think you'll go all the way and do a whole army?
Yes, probably.
Nice.
Because I'm at about 1,200 points now.
Yeah, might as well go to the 2,000.
Yeah,
You can paint them red as well, so he was all over it. It's difficult to stop him. If you can paint it red, then he's there. they're part of the Blood Angels now.
They're just honorary, Blood Angels.
Tau Angels.
Yeah. No, like the model kit. The model kits are great. Mini Gundams. And like then you start reading about stuff. This is cool. That's a cool thing. That's a cool rule. So I'm now thinking about running two or three Tau hammerheads.
Nice.
So
I
like a fast attack armor combination.
If I could just
Years
stop
ago,
you there,
you used to be able to buy a single box. I had 3 of them in, and that was a spicy box.
I just want to stop you there, Ben, because obviously we are a podcast that are very serious. We stand by everything that we say. Like we are men of our word.
We're about to get fucking rinsed here.
We're gonna get clipped.
But it's just gonna pop this in here.
If you like the lore, if you like how they look, if you like Ultramarines because they're cool, get Ultramarines. If you like
Don't say it. Oh, he said it.
If you like Tau, rethink your life.
But we would never go back on our words.
I don't recall that specific event.
No,
would that hold up in court? That's the question.
It sounds like AI to me.
Yeah, it probably is actually.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's some sort of deep fake that someone's done.
100%. And on top,
they definitely didn't have to go too deep to get that fake. like 3 podcasts back, there it was.
Shit.
I'm really upset with myself because I haven't actually uploaded the clips that I wanted to do of what Seb had said.
Let me just see. I've got some quotes here for you if you'd like.
Oh yes, by all means.
No, from Seb. I'm absolutely putting an order in with you for everything Space Wolves when we have a release date.
I need to just a second, Ben. What's going to happen is at this point there's going to be a clip of Seb talking, which I'm going to drop in right now.
But I think when you're starting a new army and go, right, this is going to be my 40k army, or this is going to be my Age of Sigmar army, you buy the whole army, and instead of going, I'm going to start with one box, you've got the whole army in the back of your head, so it becomes quite overwhelming. You go, shit me, I've got a lot to trundle through here. Whereas if you're in a position where you're already quite deep into the hobby, like yourself, Ben, and you've got armies, and you go, I'm going to add an extra unit of 10 models, nothing sort of thing. And it's a lot more, mentally, it's a lot more doable.
What is it that Seb has said?
Sorry, do you want me to say it again?
Yeah, say it again if you could. That'd be brilliant.
Well,
fucking hell.
this is in verbatim. I'm absolutely putting an order in with you for everything Space Wolves when we have a release date. Cry laughing emoji, along with a picture of said items from Instagram.
Yeah. I think if anything, that just makes us human.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Which was a week after saying, I'll take that Iron Jaws spearhead off you on Saturday, mate.
Hang on a minute.
There it is. Just to clarify, there was a previous message. Also, as and when we get more Space Wolves announcements, put my name down for everything.
You know what? I'm gonna like go now.
Yeah, you got to finish up that spearhead before the Space Wolves start.
Yeah. Well, no. To be fair, and this is the one thing I have stuck with that I've said. Oh, look now. This is the one thing I have stuck with that I've said is I'm using the Iron Jaws as a break in between other stuff when I get bored. So when I'm doing Custodes, I painted up an Iron Jaws. When I go onto Space Wolves and I have all of them and I get bored, I'll go back to my Iron Jaws. So I have stuck with that so far. Just wanted to get that in there. I'm not a complete liar.
I'm calling bullshit on that. I'm just calling bullshit.
Oh dear.
Sorry, the kettle's boiling.
I think
Shut up, Ben.
No, Steve, no. Let me talk.
Okay, sorry.
Hand
Abby,
up.
Let Ben have his moment, Steve. He never says anything.
How do you mute Steve?
How'd you kick him out of his own goal?
you know, I can mute you. You guys can't mute me. Can you imagine me just doing that to Ben? I can't do that.
Oh, you can't.
Can you kick him out of his own call?
Don't think so.
I know.
No, but...
I was just going to say, I think the plastic crack affliction is so strong that you can start off with the best intentions of being like, I'm just going to build a few bits, but there's a new thing come out. I need fucking everything.
But I completely with it, completely agree with it, because also at the end of the day, it's that wall of cool. And sometimes when inspiration sparks and you want to go with it, you might as well go with it. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing at that point in time, what's the point in doing it? Like, you know, so it's just like, you know, I think I can't. As much as I rinse both of you for it, I can't blame you because literally do the same.
We all do it though, don't we? We all go, right, let's be more sensible about this. Let's not start something new until I've done something, till I've completed that, and then go, oh, hang on a minute, there's a new release coming out. I'm taking all of that. Like, you just, and that's Games Workshop's fault for making incredible models.
We're the victims.
We are the victims.
However, the group of the four of us here, I think Steve, Seb, and me, like, we're in a fairly similar position where there's an element of feeling bad about this stuff and being like, maybe we shouldn't go crazy. Ben, comparatively, is like, I'm gonna have to rent a bigger unit to fit more of this stuff.
He's like this. Come on, let's go.
So anyhow, Ben and Seb, you've been doing you've been playing with your custard. You actually got a game in as well, didn't you, Seb? We actually didn't get a chance to film down in the shop. We were so busy the other day. Yeah. But you got a game in, didn't you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it actually. I played against Jack, who's a great opponent, and obviously I'm still learning, and he was very helpful as we were playing. It wasn't kind of like, all right, I'm gonna just smash you around the board. It was very helpful. So that was really good. And yeah, I'm enjoying playing them, and I kind of went home and now I've got my other 1,000 points completely assembled. So this week I'm going to be spraying them and just started painting them. I'm hoping to do it a few nights a week and just get them all done and hopefully get back down to the shop again before the tournament. But yeah, no, I've got some tabletop simulator games lined up as well. So I'm kind of just really making an effort now to actually learn how to play everything. And I'm not going to know everything, but if I can know as much about my army and the basic rules, then what else can be asked for me as a new player?
Yeah, no,
And
definitely not.
it's still dice. It still comes down to dice as well.
Yeah. No,
All day
absolutely.
long.
Like Josh, we were playing the other day. What should have been a ton of easy saves on Terminators.
Oh,
Still
yeah,
fucking
they
like
just
that
got
Terminator
annihilated.
captain. One of the worst performances on tabletop, killed by some nuns with guns.
There
who
was-
were
yeah,
in melee. Like
There was
delivering-
I had a squad of retributors, which are single wound, toughness 3, strength 3 models with no close combat weapons, and they went toe to toe with a Terminator, Blood Angel Terminator captain for 3 rounds before he finished them off.
That's horrendous, isn't it? That's just the
It took him
worst.
3 turns to kill them.
Yeah, I think Jack was saying he had some crazy luck like that when he was playing his Custodes, and he put a Blade Champion up against Angron, and killed Angron in one turn with a single Blade Champion because the other guy had just had a
Custodes
really
are
rough
no
time.
joke. Custodes really
Yeah,
are
yeah.
no joke. Like you
Mm.
get a charge off with Custodes, and you fillet Angron before he can answer back, and yeah,
Absolutely.
it's doable.
It's kind of like when you're playing them as well, you don't realize the ultimate power until you're there. You've got one custodian warden left, and that one warden can wipe out a whole squad of Space Marines, and you're like, how the hell has it done that? And that's when you go, that's why there's like 25 models on a 2,000 point army, because they are the shit. Like, if you know how to play them.
I tell you what,
Unlike
you'd love them. You'd love them in Heresy. In Heresy, outrageous! Like wiping out entire squads of people in close combat is basically happens every round in Heresy. But
Yeah.
The Custodes,
They're awesome. They really are. Yeah, they're really cool. And that's the thing. By no means am I going to sort of leave them in the dust. I'm still going to play them, but because I like the army, I like the models. But yeah, they're just really cool. And I think their only big thing with them really for me is then going, okay, so obviously if you're going to play a game where you're just killing someone, you've probably got a pretty good chance. But how do you manage a game when you then got to focus on your primaries and your secondaries? Then that's when the real skill comes in with them. Because a hack and slash with Custodes, you're probably going to win.
Well, that's again where I think when you're playing, as soon as you introduce objectives into the game, I think that's the great leveler.
Yeah.
If you if you're just literally just smashing each other off the table, like if you've got a shooting army, there's no incentive for you to move. Like, well, I'll sit here and shoot you.
Yeah.
And again, if you've got a low model count army like Custodes, but you've got to try and manage, say, 5 objectives on the board, all of a sudden that's quite different versus someone who's got 3, 4, 5 times the amount of plastic.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's the great leveler.
Mm.
It is indeed. And then we've gone through yourselves. And Josh, what have you been working on? What have you been getting up to lately?
I've most recently been playing the Dark Souls board game, actually, as opposed to anything specifically Warhammer or 40k. But Tabletop, nonetheless, is one of those massive board games that comes with a load of miniatures that you never get around to painting, But yeah, I've recently been, just slapped a little bit of paint on the Great Grey Wolf Sif from the Darkroot Basin expansion. But yeah, I've got the rest of it painted up. But I'd had the game for years and had never really got round to playing it. And Steve's finding this so exciting that he can't contain himself.
Steve's like, sorry, mate. Did you say it was not Warhammer related?
Yeah, exactly.
I've got to go.
I glazed the minute you said that. I just
gone.
I'm not sure. No. I've been quiet for a little while because the wife came in to make a cup of tea, and then next thing she starts making a whole bloody sandwich, and the toast is going a whole bloody lot, and then the fucking dog comes in.
What sort of sandwich is she? What sort of sandwich though?
Yeah, let's talk about that instead of this non-Warhammer.
No. I'm going back to Josh. Sorry,
to be fair, I'm invested now. Come on, Steve.
What was the sandwich?
She was making the cheese and ham toasties. She was. She
came in. Nice.
She came in and just makes up. Can I make a tea? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then there's a point there, like the kettle's boiling. I think you picked up on something like, "Whoa!" It sounds like a noise in the background, and I kept having to mute myself. I was like, for fuck's sake! And then the next thing, the fucking dog's running around. I was just like, fucking hell.
That's all well and good. That's all well and good. But when she makes the toasty, does she put like mayonnaise on the top of the bread before she toasts it? Because it makes.
What?
mate. Have you never
Mayonnaise
put
and-
mayonnaise when you do a cheese toasty?
What,
Like,
on the bit that's going to get toasted?
Are we talking about in a toaster or like in a toasty maker? Because if you're doing it in a toasty maker, you put mayo on it, and it makes this really nice golden layer, and it adds
What kind of
just
fucking psychopath are you? Burning mayonnaise
Mate.
to the outside of bread?
No. crystallized mayonnaise.
Look,
Mate,
you
it's
fucking
brilliant.
you tease everyone with Blood Angels, and you fuck off to Space Wars, and now you're talking about putting mayo in a cheese. Honestly, mate, it's
You know what? I'm gonna make you a cheese toasty with mayonnaise glazed on the top.
I don't want your suspicious mayo glaze all over my cheese toast.
I was just envisaging this as you were saying about that, Steve. I was envisaging this thing of you, like, you know, sort of like look off to the side, and she's like, "Oh, I'm making a cuppa." You're like, "Yeah." She's making the cup of tea. You like look back, she's making a toasty. Look back, and it's like full on like Viking
Bang,
long
bang.
haul feast, just like laid out like pig with the apple in its mouth, and like.
Yeah.
Just...
But I'm not being funny. I didn't fucking. It was a bit like that. I was like,
Gosh, put this painting up. Bang, bang, bang.
just
Did you get a cheese toasty, Steve?
No, like fuck did I, like, you know.
Oh,
I looked over her, and the daggers I got back was pretty much just say, "Fuck you!" Like, you know, it's my kitchen. Get out in your container. I'm just like, you know, it's like. Fucking hell.
So look, I've let you in the house. All right, consider yourself bloody lucky.
No, but sorry,
your Warhammer box, you.
Sorry, no. Getting back to Judge, the Dark Souls board game. So you've been playing and painting all of that at the present moment, haven't you?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I've had the game for a very long time, and I painted it quite a while ago as well, and I've just never really got round to playing it. And a couple of us met up and had a game of it. A week or two ago now, and the outside of the box says playtime 90 minutes to 120 minutes, I think, or 90 to 2. You know, I don't know. So basically, it's a big lie. We started playing it just before 3 p.m. and finished just before 3 a.m. So we were playing for nearly 12 hours. that was when you were down, actually, Seb.
It was. I remember.
We started playing it then.
I think those boss battler games are really interesting. Like, there's that one that I was mentioning, that Grim Coven one. Like, they are a very clever concept that you can essentially play. It's more like group participation, because you're not playing against a friend. You can play with a friend. I think it adds a whole nother element to this kind of like board game. Oh, Ben, shut the fuck up, man.
Co-op games.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation. Let's go. Group.
So was I, mate. I didn't say anything.
I'm just happy.
Sorry, Seb. You're saying how you want to play with a friend. Carry on, as you were.
Yeah, why not? I haven't got any.
He plays too hard, I hear.
The stranger.
I love how I caught a stray.
Does it work? Does it work if you sleep on your arm and then get that arm to roll the dice? Does it count as someone else?
Do you just sit on a hand?
Yeah.
Do you sit on a hand and take your glasses off?
To be fair, if you do glasses off and cat backwards, like, and do it with your left hand, like,
and like the same time scale as Josh, like, you know, midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning.
Is that when you roll the dice at that point, or?
Yeah.
I think we've moved beyond dice rolling by this point.
So, anyhow, I'm going to bring it back. So, hobby, I've been doing a little bit of hobby. I've been looking at what's going to be my army after the Bristol Grand Tournament. I am very much looking into doing a Space Marine army. I really want to do Space Wolves, but I don't know why in my life and in my brain, all the way back from being a child, if someone else said they were going to do the same thing as me, I always just said I had to do something different. I love like spaghetti carbonara. If I went to a restaurant and get an Italian, and my brother next to me ordered spaghetti carbonara before me, I'd have to have something different. So unfortunately, Seb's taking Spaceballs from me. So I'm he's taking my spaghetti carbonara away. So I'm looking at working on doing some Black Templars, and I've been playing with Trevarian's painted guide, which is the grim dark and the stipple and the sponges and stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. So That's all I've done really. I've played around.
But then Black
with-
Templars are getting some cool stuff at some point this year as well, aren't they? They've been
They've
teased again.
they've got their update coming. So I mean, it's really cool. They've done the Knights release, and the Black Templars are in that section of releases coming up. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, not expecting much. A lot of the models did get redone towards the end of Ninth, but they're still good. Like the Crusader squads, the Sword Referent. I like just Grimalda. So I just started listening to Hell's Reach again. I've watched the YouTube. I was just like, yeah, I love the Black Templars. This is everything. I love it all. So yeah.
What are they going to do then? What do you reckon they're going to do?
I think they might bring. I don't know. Like they've done the Emperor's Champion, they've done Bayard's Revenge, they've done Helbrecht, they've done Grimaldus. I don't know any other Black Templar, hero that I know of. There's nothing else that's.
You can't really bring
it.
Sigismund back. He's definitely snuffed it, isn't he?
No, he's gone. Helbrecht's got his sword right now, isn't he? So it's
Oh yeah.
It's that, and then it's just you got the sword weapon, you got the Crusader squad. Unless they bring out a new, unique Black Templar unit or anything. But no, I think I don't know. It'll be new codex, maybe a new model or two.
What the fuck are you doing? My wife's just come in wearing a fucking mask and a hoodie, like some sort of weird Spanish. What's the mask that the anonymous people wear? Imagine that, but female and Spanish looking.
The V for Vendetta mask.
Well, yeah, but a feminine one.
Oh, a V for Vendetta.
I don't know what that would be. Instead of Guy Fawkes, it would be like Gal Fawkes or something.
Yeah,
Gal Fawkes.
Gal Spoons.
It's like literally tonight's been our wives episode. Like, Josh, do you want to get your missus up, or Seb, do you want to get your mum?
Oh, fucking hell.
I tell you, people listening to this right now are going to be like, "The fuck are these guys on about?" So
No, she's making me a toasty. She's making me a cheese toasty, Steve. How's that make you feel?
Well, is she putting the mayo on top?
I've done it just how you like it, Seb.
Thank you. We can use this.
I think one of the things we wanted to talk about tonight was mental health. Steve, do you feel capable of? No, he's not. He's off.
Okay, cool. So tonight the main topic was going to be
Well, it's not anymore.
mayonnaise. No, it's going to be about mental health. So one thing that I find interesting about this entire hobby, or getting back into the hobby, is actually how much, for me, I find it as a really good space to just. I was literally going to say the line I said earlier. That was awful. Is just taking my mind off everyday things. Like I've got into this hobby, back into this hobby last year and a bit. And it's actually been a real big help. Being able to drift into a different world, be it a fantasy world, whatever's going on. From when I first started, I got back into this hobby and I was doing Middle-earth battle strategy and doing battle companies, where you build a small squad, and as you play games, they grow, and then you build characters and all this, and they've got history and they've got wounds and everything like this. It was really interesting. Something I looked forward to every week, and then since then, it's just been able to get into the different aspects of the hobby to disappear from life and all the day-to-day things. For me, this hobby's been a big safe place to go to, whenever things have been hard or long.
What? You fucking ruined it.
We managed 1.5 minutes there of
Steve, you were doing
non-phallic
so well.
references.
You were doing so well.
I'm going to cut that section. So no, whenever things were just getting difficult with life, or just things were busy, or hard, just too much was going on, it was always nice to be able to disappear into something, be it just an hour, 2 hours, just be able to paint a model, or know that, if I've got a hard week or there's a lot of work going on, then it's been able to, looking forward to getting a game in with a mate or playing some games. So I don't know, this hobby to me, in the way for mental health, has always been a break from real life or any the pressures of real life and anything else that's going on. And I mean, I don't know for you guys, what is it that's attracting you to this hobby? What does this hobby provide you in the way for mental health, or what does it do for you guys?
I think there's like a couple of aspects of it. There's one which is I'm going to try and remember what it is I want to say as well, because what I'm going to do is talk about it, go off on a fucking tangent, and then completely forget the whole point of what I was talking about.
So
So
mayonnaise.
I'm going to give you so one is the fact that it is a hobby and it should stay fun. Two is the doing stuff by yourself, easy Seb, and then three is the community aspect. So like the first part, I think it is a hobby and it is meant to be fun, and you shouldn't take it too seriously. So that's the first bit, is just remember that it is meant to be fun, and it's still just plastic soldiers on a table. Like, don't take it too seriously. Sometimes the dice roll is going to be shit. Fine, it's just the way it is. But for me, you've got the part of, like you said, Steve, when life throws its various challenges at you. If you can then just disappear into something, do something fairly mundane, that's not mundane, something that is not mentally taxing, that you can turn your brain off for a bit. And like for me, I find it's the cutting and sticking part. Taking bits off a sprue, trimming all the little bits off, trimming the mold lines, sticking some glue on, because I can just turn the brain off, stick an audiobook on while I'm doing it. Or the worst part is putting on a Warhammer series and then getting pulled into another army. So avoid that. But just being able to switch off for a bit, it's amazing. And then I think the third part for me is the community, particularly if you're feeling a bit rough. If you've got a reason to kind of like drag yourself out, actually it does wonders for you. If you're in that point where you're thinking, oh fuck, I don't want to go out, I don't want to do anything. If you've already committed to going to meet up with someone, or you've got a group of people that are like, nah, come on down, like come and get stuck in. Actually, once you're out and you've made the effort to get out, you often find that you're a lot better. Your headspace is a lot better than where it was when you went into it. So I think just having that community of people who are into the same stuff as you, where you can go down, have a laugh. Like we did a couple of weeks back, we did a little build session, so a little group build session in the store. It was great fun. Everyone just chatting, big group. I think there's about 10 of us in the end, all just building various bits, and it was a real nice atmosphere, really nice group. I think that's a great place.
I took that invitation a little too literally and was literally building a desk whilst everyone else was building.
Yes, you were. Yeah.
Like, big build party. I was like, I'll just bring down a desk and build that.
I'm going to do an IKEA flat pack.
Every time Ben says a build party to me now, I make any excuse because I ain't fucking building any more to shop.
Everyone else gets to build plastic.
I
Steve,
lost my left hand.
Steve, you're downstairs, mate, starting on the gaming area.
No, I've got to get started on this. But it's. But I was going to add one thing to you, one of the things you're saying about, like you said about cutting and sticking the bits and pieces. Another thing I really enjoy about the hobby is achievement. Sometimes when you paint, even if it's just completing one model or building something or just painting something and completing something, like so much in life is so hard getting through anything, just the day to day, the week to week, get the bills paid and anything like this. And sometimes just having those little wins, which are just small little achievements. For me, I've just tried a new paint style and I'm just there, just one model. I'm like, I'm pleased as punch. That to me, I will look at it for the next couple of days and keep coming down. So I will look at it. I'm really happy with that. And that makes me, that in itself is just worth the couple of hours I spent on it. It's for me adding on to like the sticking in the buildings, completing something, and then those little rewards, those little those little achievements. To me, for me are massive helps, especially when there's so much going on, and it's just being able to do something for myself, and think like, hey, I did it.
I think, Josh, you said a little while ago we were talking about painting and stuff and how you don't repaint anything. And that's probably quite a good thing to get in the habit of, is like keep a mini back that you started, because the thing you tend to do with this hobby is go onto Instagram or Golden Demon winners or something like that and look at the people who are the very best in the hobby and then go, oh, well, mine doesn't look anything like that. Whereas if you've got, again, Steve, kind of like tying into your sense of achievement, if you've got one that you started off with and then you redo a similar thing 6 months later, a year later, you'd have come on so much further. And then to be able to look back and go, oh my God, like, I'm not at the Golden Demon winning level, but I am an awful lot better than I was before because my skill set's grown, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a similar point to the one I made in one of the previous podcasts, which is that it's easier than ever to compare yourself to other people. I find it more helpful to compare myself to my previous self. Problem I find with a lot of the time is I compare myself to a particularly good day that I've had in the past and absolutely smashed something. I'm like, oh yeah, I did a really good job on that. So I then spook myself a bit in trying to live up to that again. Because as I'm sure you'll all know, that first stage when you start painting something, you really have to trust the process, don't you? At the start of that process, it always looks absolutely terrible. Like you've slapped the base paints on, and it looks like you've just done a very basic job on a coloring book, and you're just like, oh, this looks dreadful. And it's managing to kind of get yourself over that hurdle of it. It's going to look worse before it looks better. It looked better when it was primed black than it did when I'd finished all of the base coats on it. But then by the time you finish the layering, the highlights, the washes, and everything else, usually it will end up looking fantastic. But yeah, it can be difficult, especially. I don't know if you guys ever get this, but if I get just like halfway through painting a model, you may have got it to the stage where it just looks dreadful, and you're just like, I don't even know how to continue from here. I'm just going to have to start it again.
Yeah, no,
yeah, for sure.
I know I've had that before, or even when you get there and then you're just like, on the shelf you go, and then it's just like, that didn't work out too well. I don't know about you, but sometimes I'm just like, I'm just gonna lock the hobby room away for a little while. Gonna have a rethink of my life. Probably play some COD on the mobile. I don't know. We watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just something to change it for a week, and then
what a series! What a series!
It's great, isn't it? Absolutely class.
Sorry, I think I probably derailed that a little bit.
No, completely. No, you're spot on. Exactly where it is. Like, it's just, but no, it is like sometimes with it. And because another thing I was going to bring up, well, let's talk about it, but I'm going to bring up about the challenges with the hobby as well, which sometimes have the negative effects of, helping and how we overcome them. But you said, how do you approach mental health in the hobby?
So I think there's a few things really. I think for me, it's the first thing I'll say, similar to you, it's the sense of achievement. I think when you first start painting, or you get a box and you've got your plastic on a sprue and you go, wow, this is going to take some time, and it does normally take some time, but you work through it and you take, you go on that, it sounds a bit odd, but you go on that like journey with your army or the single box of models that you're doing, and then by the time you get that finished, someone else might go, yeah, they're just plastic soldiers, but go, no, but I have literally put hours into this, and you're not always, but like, I'm so happy with what I've done here. And then you see it on the tabletop, you almost feel like a proud parent or something, because you go, I took all that time and I stuck with it, and I completed this army that I can now play the game with. I've done the first steps, which are the building, the painting and stuff, and now it's like the whole next stage of like my journey with this army. And I think as well, so that's like the first thing, it's kind of the sense of achievement you get when you complete a model or an army. I think secondly, I think there's just so much, like there's so much you can do with the hobby. There's the lore aspect, there's the painting, there's the playing. And I think when you're meeting people and you're talking about the hobby, there's just so much that you can discuss, and you're always learning. No matter how long you've been in the hobby, you're learning more about the game, you're learning more about the lore behind it. You might go to a game and someone could say, oh, well, this model's really cool, but did you know blah, 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 and the lore and stuff, there's just so much you can learn. And it's so interesting because no matter how long you've been doing the hobby, it never stops. There's always something new that you can get stuck into. So, it stops you from getting bored, or, you get bored of a single model and you go, let's try a completely different army or a completely different thing. And there's always an answer to a problem. And it's just really something, it's great because you can really sort of dig into it. And I've got a friend at work. He doesn't
I'm
he
glad
doesn't
to hear
paint.
that, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Thanks, Ben. Yeah, anyway, back to the talk about this. But yeah, no, I've got a mate at work, and he doesn't paint, he doesn't game, but he absolutely loves the books. And he reads the books. But then, even though he's not a tabletop gamer, that's something that I can relate to him about, because all the sort of elements they all sort of intertwine. And I think that's what makes it really great. And that did waffle a bit, but you get my point.
Right, mate. It is a really rich. There's like a rich universe to delve into.
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
like if you just typed in your, if you were looking if you wanted to find out about one of the best chapters, for example, you go onto YouTube and type in Blood Angels and see what comes up, and there'll be a host of stuff on there. But like the lore, all that, there's tons of it. It's the gift.
I think as well, because like I've only recently started. I've started listening to the audiobook of the book Space Wolf, and like I've only done like the first few chapters, but like when you know the lore, I mean, obviously it's always there's a business side to it as well, but you know the lore about a certain character, and then it makes you more interested. And you go, wow, so I'm not just putting a plastic model on the table, but this character, there's so much behind it. Like in the beginning of this this book, Space Wolf, the prologue is all about Ragnar Blackmane, and is essentially like a typical sort of Viking thing. He's got an army around him, and he sends the army off to the bunker, and he slowly marches down the battlefield with his chainsword and like nothing else, and takes on a rhino and absolutely like smashes the crap out of it. And it's just stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, he's a really
That's why
cool
they're an
character.
endangered species, mate.
Yeah, exactly. But it's really cool. I love it.
But no, it's. Go on,
I was
Josh,
just
sorry.
about to say, to give context to the amount of information, as you were saying, it's a really rich background and lore and so on. I happen to have the Black Templars wiki page open just from when Steve said about them earlier. I just was like, I wonder how much people have just written just on the wiki page just about the Black Templars, which is one amongst thousands of Space Marine chapters. There's 81 pages, 27,500 words just on the Black Templars page alone. 27, I mean, yeah.
But it's that there's so many different aspects to the hobby, and it was nice again. Circle back. Oh god, commercial talk. Corporate talk, should I say? We'll circle back now. No, it's but it's like for being for mental health. It is a great escapism. Like it's this great place that you can disappear in many different aspects. Be it the painting the models, the community with people, just to read, delving into the lore and understanding those things, completing models or building or just having fun by yourself, take it whichever way you want, or with others, and it's but it is a great thing. I find what's interesting, again, coming back into it, it's like just for this, like this group of us four idiots here, I mean, I talk strongly about myself. I'm not sure about you guys, but no, it's it's been able to find friends, but like-minded people, and all we do, tonight, it's like for this podcast, I enjoy just being able to know that I'm going to jump on here for an hour and chat with you guys. Be it anyone listens or doesn't listen, I have a really good time. It always makes me smile, and all we do is talking about a hobby that we enjoy, and it's those kind of things, those interaction, and it's nice to know that this hobby can provide all of this stuff. And there's lots of good people out there. There's lots of interesting people in this hobby. There's lots of
very well put.
Or there's lots of
any group of people. Like 10% are dicks.
I wouldn't say
that's whether it's your sports or whether it's your political beliefs or whatever it is. Like 10% of people are dicks, and that's just the way it is, and that's okay. You don't have to talk to those people. But the vast majority of people are perfectly sound.
There's a group of interesting characters who are people who are interested in tabletop war games and the hobby in general, a kind of demographic of people who you won't find as well represented in normal society, I would say. But I think that at the very least, in part, is because the community as a whole is so welcoming to people, right? If you're at school and the popular kids are booting a football at your head and bullying you and, being mean, then there's a whole group of people, nobody's walking into Warhammer Club and having a, Cassifer metal dreadnought thrown at their head, are they? No. It could do a lot of damage, but that's not...
It's too expensive. I'm not throwing that around.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Never mind.
Damage the paint job I've done on it.
No, but absolutely, it is a small demographic. And the thing is, listen, if there is anyone listening who's actually got this far into our ramblings, but it's like that, if you, because I do hear the stories, there's some people who are quite nervous disposition to go into a place, and sometimes they've had a bad first interaction with this hobby purely by whoever was their first point of call in that shop, or be it the first game they played in the hobby club and they ended up playing against someone who was very much out there to win and thought it was an easy win against the beginner, whatever it is. Like, come back, keep trying. There's going to be other people in here. It is worth it. It's worth that, just a little bit of effort to try and push again, because there's going to be other people in there. You will find your group of idiots. I found mine, and everyone will find theirs. Like, and you will find the people that you have fun, and you'll find all those great things that come with the hobby, to be able to have the chat, have the fun, have the laugh, which is great. But one thing I did want to also talk about, as regards to the mental health, is also like the negative effects, or perceived negative effects, and how you deal with them in the hobby. So say it's that evening, you've come back, you've set yourself up, be it you G'd yourself up, Josh, I'm going to paint some miniatures tonight, or whatever it is. Like, you've come back and it just doesn't work. When you just had one of those nights where it's just not happening. You're starting to paint a miniature and it's just going wrong, or you're going out and you're playing the games and every single dice is a 1 when you need it to. Like, you have those things, and you can't help. Like, no one gets to play a game to lose. No one we're not out there to win, but you go out there to have fun. But when you're getting tabled and it's not a fun evening, or when you're painting your model and it's going wrong. What do you guys do to overcome that, to not have a negative impact going forward? What's your...
I think when it comes to like the painting and stuff like that, I think it's similar with anything creative. Like, if I'm like trying to do like make a film or like whatever it is, if I'm in a bad headspace, I try to not do it when I'm in a bad mood and go, let's just take 5. But the positive, going back to the point earlier about it being such a rich hobby, it's fine, because if I'm in a bad mood and I don't want to paint something, you know what, I still want to do something Warhammer related. I'm going to listen to an audiobook, or I'm going to chill out and read. I don't have to sit down and paint. So there's always an alternative, and because there are so many different options and ways that you can enjoy the hobby, it's not a be all or end all. It's not like, I'm not playing that computer game anymore because I'm shit and I've had enough of it. I'm going to just bin it off and put it to one side. It's very much, I'm not in the right headspace to paint, but maybe I'm going to look at my army list, or maybe I'm going to watch some lore videos or whatever it is. So there's always an alternative if you're not necessarily feeling up to the painting. I can't speak as much about the gaming side because I haven't played many games yet, but in terms of like the creative side of the painting and stuff, that's kind of how I would approach it.
And I think like with that sort of things, like the only person you haven't got to answer to anyone. It's not a job. No one's there going like, well, you did say you'd have these Terminators painted by next week and you've not done it. Like, if you're not in the mood for it, who gives a fuck? Go watch some TV.
I think in some ways,
go for a walk, whatever it is.
With the painting, I think you don't answer to anyone. But I think to a certain extent with the gameplay, you should be answering to someone, right? In that there should be a level of obligation on you as somebody playing the game to make sure, or try and make sure, that your opponent is also having a good game, right? That's the way that I would see it. Like, on the painting side of things, I don't think so, but there's got to be some element of sportsmanship in the playing of the game. If I was playing against somebody and it's their first game, I'm not going to just annihilate them. If even if I was capable of doing so, which I'm probably not, because I'm not very good. But you wouldn't deliberately throw it and do the worst possible things. But you wouldn't necessarily. It's like it would be like. When somebody's playing their first game, they don't usually have a big range of models, so they usually have a lot of infantry. They usually don't have that many tanks. So there's a particular type of army that you could take that would absolutely annihilate what they've got, but you don't do that, because if you want people to play against, there's like a level of obligation that you have to those other people to foster a good game playing relationship, which is part of why I think the community is so good. Because if you are just that guy, then you're only going to be able to play against people who are also that guy. Because normal people, myself included, and that's one of the things I was going to respond to actually with this, with the question, Steve, which is, as far as the gameplay goes, if I roll all ones for the entire game, I don't care, because I make sure that the people who I'm playing against are people who aren't there with the most meta list, absolutely optimized within an inch of its life, ready to just annihilate you, and they're not there to have a laugh. They're there just to win. That's not why I'm there. So I just, I just won't be playing a game against that person. It's part of the beauty of playing tabletop games against people in real life, which is that there's an element of decorum and sportsmanship that doesn't really exist in the online game playing space because it doesn't need to. You don't know any of those people you're playing against online, so you can mercilessly smash them, or if they mercilessly smash you, then they'll spend a bit of time shit talking you afterwards and so on. in the physical world, that just doesn't happen in the same way because people want to continue to play a game that they enjoy. They want to have people to play against, and I think that level of obligation to other players fosters generally a pretty good and pretty positive atmosphere.
No, I was going to say almost exactly the same thing when I was thinking about it. Like, rather than be like, oh, what happens if you're having a bad game? Well, that you can't really determine your mood. Like, if you're in a shit mood, you're in a shit mood. That's just But if everyone went into it going like, do you know what? Actually, I'm just going to be a quality opponent. I'm just going to make this a really good game for all involved. I mean, we're really lucky. Like, I think our community, everyone's on the same wavelength. Like, we've got a really nice bunch of people that play. Everyone plays for fun. And so it doesn't matter. I mean, I remember like we had we've got a guy called Bob when he got back into it. And I mean, me and Bob used to work together going back sort of 20 years. First time we've really spent any time together in 20 years. We played a game and he absolutely tabled me with I think he was using his Tyranids, but I don't think I'd laughed that much in a game for a long time. And we got to the end and we were like, mate, I don't even know who won. But we spent the whole time laughing and it was just great. Like that was awesome. That was what. And the end result didn't really matter. So I think, like Josh said, if you just go, actually, I'm just going to be a really good opponent and make it a good, fun game. And like you said, if I always think if there's something obvious your opponent's missed, let them know.
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you want to play at a higher level, well, you're only going to get there if you help that person get there as well. Like, there's no point going, oh, well, that person was shit. Like, we'll help them to be better. And then the next time you play it, if you want a high level game, you're more likely to get it anyway.
I think that's important as well because obviously it's a quite a niche hobby. Like people on the outside go, "Oh, what's Warhammer?" Or if they know, they go, "Oh, that's a bit odd or whatever." But I think that's why it's so important that when someone is coming into the hobby, that you are welcoming and you do help them and you don't try and put them off and say, "Oh, this isn't for you," sort of thing. Because at the end of the day, the more people in the hobby to enjoy the hobby, you're going to have more people to play games against. You're going to meet more people that have got something in common that you can speak about. And I think since I've been in the hobby, we've got the things like the Hobby Club Discord, and there's loads of people in there now who I would call like for actual friends because you speak to them a lot. You speak not necessarily on a daily basis, but you speak to them a lot and you make friends. And there's such a great element of community that I think a lot of other hobbies they just don't bring. And if you you span out even past like the Warhammer and stuff, there's a game out there for everyone. You don't like 40k or fantasy, great, play Bolt Action. You want to do more historic stuff, there's options for you. And so there is a game system for everyone who wants to give it a try, and that's why another reason why I think it's great.
I think just like on the back of what you're saying about community and talking about the community and people coming from my background being a rugby player, everything like this is interesting. I love rugby. I love the sport. I love everything about it. But as someone myself who don't drink, where drinking is a big part of the community aspect of it, it was there's a hard thing to be able to get back into the sport, to play the sport again. Whereas what's quite nice is there isn't any. I don't think there is any preconceived. You have to be XYZ when you're in this community. Do you get me? Like, you don't, it's not almost like, there isn't going to be a hazing when you joined us. Like, there's not going to be an initiation. There's none of this stuff. There's none of these anxieties about anything. And then also as you said, like Ben and everything, we're fortunate with the community that we have. Everyone just gets on and plays for fun. And like one of the big things I like doing, like if again, back down to this thing, if I'm rolling once, the way I get over rolling once is I enjoy the game through my opponent to the point I'm like, like you've got to be winning. How are you going to win this? I want to see this, and I'm cheering their rolls on. I remember playing Blood Bowl, having an awful game, getting absolutely hammered. And then the guy was talking this moves through, and everything that was happening, like, he was like, I'm going to try something risky here, and like applauding it that it happened, because it was exciting. Because I would have loved it if it happened for me, like, and enjoying the game on both ends, because it's just a story. It's a cinematic. To me, it's a cinematic story. Like, however you play the game, those things are, that's again how immersive you want to get into the games that you play. But it's really good fun to enjoy watching other people succeed, and also it's good fun when you work with other people. You got other people in the hobby, and you're introducing them to it, and they're enjoying themselves, or they're getting better at it, and you're growing together. Because again, like you said, if you help your opponent, you're going to have a better quality of opponent later on down the line to play with, as opposed to if you smash them, they're not going to want to come back, or they would never ever play you again, and your number of opponents get less and less. And it's
I
on the
told you. I
whole,
think
we're
I've told
lucky.
you before about my Saga experience.
Yeah, well, say it again now for those who haven't listened to it or heard
Well,
it.
playing Saga, I went along to play Saga. Probably this must be 15 years ago, I guess. Getting really into it. I was like, oh yeah, Viking Saga, really easy game system. Went down to a club to play and didn't know the rules that well, and just spent the whole time getting fucking rinsed. But there was no like fun with it. They were more annoyed that I didn't know what I was doing. And like, we've come along to a game, you don't know the rules. I'm like, well, no, because I'm fucking brand new to it.
I'm here to learn. That's why I came.
Well, yeah, and it was just an awful experience. Like, it wasn't welcoming, it wasn't friendly, it wasn't like, oh yeah, no, let me teach you, let me show you how it works. I'm like, what's your go then? What are you going to do? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
You tell me. Yeah.
And but I haven't played it since. Literally haven't played it since, and I've just got no interest in going back to it. So I'm just sort of like that as far as I'm concerned, I didn't enjoy that game system at all.
I think that's such a shame, because as soon as you get out of the Warhammer wheelhouse, you're within like a niche of a niche even then, right? Like, how do you encourage new people to come along and play something that's really niche if when people try to engage with it, you just gatekeep, or you just make it so that new people aren't welcome? It's just it's a strange way to be. I did have another thing which I wanted to bring up, actually, just as a benefit of Warhammer, and I thought I'd run it by each of you individually just to see. It might be true for you guys, it might not. Seb, probably not so much for you as the other guys, because the age ranges and so on. I know, Seb, you're far newer to the hobby.
If it doesn't include mayonnaise, Seb's not interested. So
yeah.
Fuck's sake.
So one of the things which I really appreciate about Warhammer as is the longevity of it, and by that I mean I've still got miniatures that I painted when I was 10, and they're still there, and I can still use them the same as I could then. They're still just as good as they ever were. I could take them, they're in that drawer just behind me there. I could take them out of that drawer and I could put them on the battlefield. I could roll some dice and I could play them, and they'd be just as good as the day I bought them. And comparatively, one of the other things that you'd find yourself doing might be playing video games, for example, right? And this is one of the things that I always, when I'm huffing the copium, trying to justify the amount I've spent on Warhammer over the years, it's that thing of saying, well, actually, how much have I spent on video games in that same time? And let's think of a video game that I was playing when I was 10 years old. And would I still play that video game now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I was 10 years old in 2002, and in 2002, I'd have probably been playing I don't know, like...
Seb, you were just,
I was 4.
mayonnaise, weren't you, at that
I was
point?
4 or 5. Yeah, I was 4 then. 4 or 5 then.
Yeah. So imagine, yeah. So I mean, as I said, Seb, this won't be as applicable to you perhaps because you're far newer to the hobby. But the point is, these models that you're buying now, in 20 years' time, you'll still have them. You'll still be able to use them. They'll still do exactly the same as what they can do now. There won't be a single thing that's different about them. They're a memento that you can keep forever.
Well, yeah. The thing is, sorry. I'll let you finish.
I was just going to say, in a world where things are. Things change. Like the scale of change and the rate of change in the world has never been higher, and it's not going to slow down. With AI and with everything else that's going to be going on, things will just be changing and getting faster and faster and faster. For like Ben and Steve, you probably remember when YouTube was getting first released, and then there's TikTok, and soon I don't know what happens beyond people only watching things for 3 seconds, let alone getting to the end of our hour and 10-minute long podcast. but with Warhammer,
just a shout out to Jack. Hello, Jack. Thank you.
Well done, Jack.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Thanks for listening thus far.
but there is truly that thing where actually it's a chance to take that foot off of the accelerator pedal, and the games haven't changed significantly. No matter what Games Workshop tells you and how many times they re-release the rules, they're not significantly different to how they were 30 years ago. Really, it's still friends gathering around a table, rolling some dice, having some fun, painting some models. I mean, Steve, Ben, how what are the oldest models that you painted that you've still got?
My Lord of the Rings stuff from like 20 years ago, which was really my first sort of like bit into. I still got the same metal miniatures that I bought when I was. It's like my fucking pocket money that I was spending. I was at I was secondary school, so it was like 2001 ish that started coming out. So yeah, almost 25 years ago. So I've still got those. And again, like you said, I could, and I do. Like my Easterling battle company that I've got is largely Easterlings that I've had for 25 years. And actually, it's probably one of the few systems where a small number of metal miniatures has actually worked in my favour, because battle companies are so small. So I certainly couldn't afford to do. I mean, back then, I couldn't afford to do a full Easterling army when they're all, the coolest minis. I absolutely fucking love the Easterlings, but I think they were £6 for 3 minis back then, which by today's standards seems okay. But imagine trying to field like 40 of them on like paper round money.
When you're saying that, it's like I've still got. I brought them down to the shop the other day. I've still got a scout squad. My first squad fully completed, painted, the 5 scouts, Space Marine scouts. I've still got the metal miniatures, and so pleased as punch still have them. I was so happy that I managed to relocate them and find them. But also, I've got so much. There's models that were lost to time and moves and house moves and stuff like this. I've still got bits and pieces knocking around. I've got a Catachan Flamer that I painted. I've got all these old odds and sods that I found around as I've been going around and moving house and stuff. But one thing I do have a lot of is all of the original books and stuff like this. I got the first edition, first and only Gaunt's Ghost. I keep saying Gaunt's Ghost. I don't think this podcast, I haven't said it yet. But yeah, I've still got all of these original books and stuff about the hobby, and just but again, it's that thing, that book, you could pick that book up now and someone could read it and it's still the exact same history, it's still everything, and I could have a full-blown conversation with someone who's just joined the hobby in as much depth about something that I read 20 years ago, because that's just how cool this hobby is and how deep it's gotten, how big it's gotten. But yeah, no, I've still got some of the old model, and it's just other bits and pieces. And it was one of those hobbies as well. It's one of those things that's always been there. So I've drifted from the hobby, not done anything for years on it, come back to it, and I say nothing's changed. Stuff has changed. Things have improved. The Primarchs were never back there in the early 2000s. They were, the hint or the idea of a Primarch turning up was just like, whoa. And then suddenly, I remember when Gilliman got, all that, and I was just like, oh, my mind is blown. Like, I can't believe this is happening. But it's those kind of things, it's just, it's always been there. It's always been consistent. And it's always, in the nicest way, it's been that safe space to go back to. I've always been it's always, in the nicest way, it's always bring back those, I say childhood, it's more teenage memories, being able to play, throw dice, and be silly with it, and enjoy a hobby.
Just memories.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's I do have models, but like I said, I've got more of the books than I do of the models. But yeah, it's one of those hobbies that's always been there. Like my
no,
shut up, Steve. You're doing so well, mate.
But I think as well, if you can find a good community that you can be part of that matches you, it's a good place to be. It's a great way to meet people that are into the same nerdy shit as you. No judgments. And yeah, go if you're listening to this and you're one of the people that isn't part of our community, go and find one. Just go and have a look. Go and get stuck in. Go and find one. And if the first one you go to isn't your bag, don't worry. Don't go back. Go and try a different one until you do find the one that gives you, gives you that warm, fuzzy feeling that makes you feel part of a nice group of people.
100%. The thing is, it is getting interesting. It's getting bigger. I still remember. I mean, put it this way: can you remember your stores that you used to go to? Can you remember the first Games Workshop shop that you were at? I remember Games Workshop pool. I had the bunker upstairs. I used to play five-a-side football at pool. It had the indoor football. We used to walk past it. Used to literally face up against a glass like that, looking at the models in the window every evening, and then being able to get in there and start playing the models and stuff like that. I just remember everything about Pool Games Workshop. And I also remember there was an independent down in Charmster, down there, Five Ways it was. And I remember it was there. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, they were the two places. And one was good, one wasn't good, and it's still the same now. As it's growing and things have changed, there's like 4 or 5 different. Well, I think there's about 10 different communities in our area, in my area, in particular, in the Dorset, Bournemouth area. And I know the ones I want to be in, and I know the ones I don't want to be in. But each to their own, as well. If someone's
unlucky you're stuck with us, Steve.
No. But the thing, I put it this way, it's
You're
like
my wife now, Dave.
We're there selling ourselves, saying, "Oh yeah, go find a community that's great." We're literally average Joes in this, we're just shits at playing. We're just this level of rubbish, so we're not getting any better.
I think yeah, no, it's quite interesting for me because obviously I would only say I've actually become part of the hobby in the last sort of like year or so, but I've always been around it because obviously my dad's like he's painted for various magazines, he's taken photos, he's built sets for like War Games Illustrated, he's done all sorts of stuff. So I've always been aware of it, and I've when I was, I think I must have been 8 years old, like he helped me paint my first cave troll, and I've still got that model today. So that's, for me, that's a memory that I'm going to have forever, sort of thing, which is really cool. And I remember like when I was 8 years old, younger, like we'd always go into like, 'cause obviously I'm from like South Croydon, and we'd go into South Croydon and we'd go to the Games Workshop there. And even now I remember it, like you go in the shopping centre and I remember where it is and stuff. And it was one of those things, and I went there, I was like, this is really cool. And I always thought to myself, when I've got adult money, like I think I'm gonna run with this. But then I forgot about it for years, and then scrolling through TikTok one day, and I saw this weird man in his van talking about plastic soldiers, and I just kind of went for it. And I think, yeah, it's interesting because I haven't necessarily like come back into the hobby, although I feel like I've always been around it, so I don't feel like I'm completely new to it, which is quite cool.
But then we've all met each other through this hobby.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah. We've all made mistakes.
No, well, we'll have to live with these ones. You're in the world now.
But no, but the thing is, I think
someone's got to take the plastic crap and look after it. Like no one else in my family will.
But I think adding on to Ben's point there is outside of this hobby, we're 4 people who probably wouldn't have met in our daily lives. I mean, obviously I'm a bit further away from you guys, but even then we all do very different things outside of the hobby. So it brings together people that wouldn't necessarily become friends in society, but because you've got that common interest, and we've all got completely different backgrounds, we've all done different things, and now we've kind of come together. And you look at these sort of like almost like a jokingly like dysfunctional group of friends, you go, they make no sense together, but then they have more fun than, like, you see them like messing around doing this podcast and stuff, and it's like they're having more fun than most people. So it's like it does generally bring people together. It's not just like we bring people together and have lots of fun. It's like, no, we actually do. Like that's a great thing about the hobby.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there. It is like we were never met at all.
We weren't
There's no
none of
hope.
us are meant for each other. It's just,
Well, I think we really were meant for each other. We were just a diamond in the rough, like, we just
I
had
would
to
have
find
swiped
each
left
other.
on Grinder.
I don't know what that is. Swiping left,
And on
that
my
is.
Tinder.
Don't play anything with me, Seb. We all know you've completed it.
100%.
So no, I think. Well, I mean, it's been a bit of a long one tonight. Well, I say it's been a long one. I think there might be some bits getting chopped.
Yeah, definitely.
What we're going to have is there's going to be 2 edits, and if you are a subscriber and you want to get the unedited version, drop me a DM, it's just there's some real stuff here.
If you join our Patreon for £30 a week, and you can watch the unedited version.
It's £30 each, by the way.
No.
It's £30 each, so it's 120 a week. So no, I think I know it's been a good one tonight, guys. I mean, obviously talking about a few bits and pieces. Coming up over the next couple of weeks, so stuff coming up. We are going to be next in the next fortnight. We're going to be talking about the Imperial rerolls. We keep saying we're going to talk about. We are now going to be talking about it. This is the run up for the Bristol Grand Tournament, so it's we are going in as beginners or not non-competitive players into a grand tournament. There's 340 people attending this tournament as far as we are aware at the present moment. And yeah, we're going to go have some fun with it. There's 10 of us in the Imperial Rerolls. I think there's a few other people joining us as well. And yeah, so we're going to be talking about that next week. If there's anyone who's got any advice for anyone going to a tournament for the first time, it would be great if you drop them in the comments below or DM us, let us know. Or if you've got some questions about going to a tournament, ask us, because we haven't got a freaking clue, but it gives us something to talk about for 5 minutes. But it's that. So we got that coming out. I don't think there's anything else to be too much. I mean, Sam's the only thing he's interested in is when the release date comes for the pre-orders for Space Wolves
And mayonnaise.
And mayonnaise.
Both at the same time.
Yeah.
Mayonnaise
Mayonnaise.
wolves. Space mayonnaise.
That sounds like something.
Lehman mayonnaise. Mayonnaise Russ. Ragnar mayonnaise. Ragnar Mayo.
I could cut it right here and just
Mayo main.
Mayo black main. Oh god. Don't twist that.
So anyhow, but before we absolutely destroy it and with mayonnaise, no, I don't think I haven't got anything else. Is there anything else you guys want to promote or chat about or talk about at the end here?
No,
in the vinegar strokes.
No.
No, I do fancy a toasty though, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Are you going to put the mayo on the top or inside?
No, absolutely. Inside, Seb. What's wrong with you?
Steve,
no,
if you could just bring toasties for all of us next time, Steve, for the podcast, that'd be
100%.
Great, yeah. Cheers.
I'm going to be asking what my toasty is like. This is my inner. This is Moomin behind me right now. That's what I felt when she used to give me a toasty, No. Well, anyhow, guys. Thanks for coming on tonight, and thank you everyone who's made it this far. Thank you, Jack. Thank you. We do know you are one of the If you did get this far, Jack, please put in a comment, "I love you." Just want to know that you did get this far. You can say that you got this far, but this is a real test. Apart from that, no, thank you guys. Thanks for jumping on, and yeah, we'll catch you in a fortnight's time.
Cheers. See you soon.
Later.
So, yeah, bye.